There is footage from inside a nuclear facility.
It's abnormal news.
How are we back here, Chris? This week in Redacted, what? We're back to just so much fucking UFO news that is just so. How? How are we back here, Chris?
You'll learn that this happens like what, like once a month, like every 2 months.
That's not what you told me at the start. At the start, you told me like, "Oh yeah, this is
I
like
told you
incredibly abnormal."
Wait. What? The whole conference and all that, that was like, yeah, this is not normal. This is incredibly not normal. Like, it's just now this is just happening over and over because it's just like all declassified stuff that they're releasing now. So it's now, it's. I'm gonna still stand that it's not normal. It's not normal.
What is normal, Chris, in an abnormal news podcast? That's what I want to know.
It's 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 abnormal news at a crazy abundance right now, which is abnormal.
Bro, this shit is so goofy. Us doing this is so fucking goofy too. I love it, man.
I can't. I'm not. I was just like, once I think it dropped like on what was it?
It was
Sunday?
last week. Yeah, you sent me a
Yeah,
message
it dropped
and I
on
was like,
Sunday, and I was like, oh, what did I say? I was like, this jellyfish is gonna be wild this week,
yeah.
and it just, I couldn't even like. Have you seen the artwork that the people have been making?
Oh, people are in love with this shit. So let's pull back for a
Oh
second.
man,
Why don't we let Mr. Everybody's favorite ufologist give this little clip? It's like 3 minutes. I think it's worth showing in full on here.
everyone's favorite ufologist. He's
Yeah. Oh, let me know if you can hear this, right?
okay.
Not look like a traditional
I can hear it.
UFO, like a sphere or a saucer, but this shape has been seen since the beginning of UAP or UFOs. Call it the Jellyfish UAP. It's in thermal. It was filmed on a weapons platform. You see that there's a dog there. See the animals are black. I'm assuming this is black hot. You see the object just went to white, and you'll see it going from white to black, white to black. And that's basically showing the heat differential. So it's going like hot and cold, hot and cold. The problem was the optics platform was jammed. These individuals who target with these platforms, they can shoot out an Al-Qaeda tire at 27 miles away, but not being able to lock it was one of the first signs that something's weird. I was able to find direct eyewitnesses and corroborate that this event did happen. When individuals would target in on it with the optics, the way it was described, each of these hanging things, they were stiff, like they weren't moving. They had geometric form, like scales. What was said to be scales, like an armor. There were also people with night vision who were out and they were tasked to go look for it. Couldn't see it on the night vision. Only in the thermal spectrum could it be seen. But anything that looks like that appears to have a payload, that's a big deal. It could be dangerous, so these are high priority. But what happened is there were a couple other nations involved, and the feeds were just shut immediately. So that put me on high alert too. Why is it completely being shut down? But that's not all it did. It goes out over a body of water. I'm told it stops on a dime, descends into the water, stiff into the water. And for 17 minutes, nothing. And boom, this thing comes up out of the water and shoots off at 45 degrees, just like that. It looks very much like what I've heard that has made incursions into nuclear facilities, because I know for sure, fact of the matter, there is footage from inside a nuclear facility. And I'll just say it, Pantex, that's the one, man. Something that appears identical to this moves between these nuclear silos and shot off again at a 45-degree angle. What it is, I don't know. But now, when it goes over a body of water, I do have some footage of that. This is when that same object, a jellyfish UFO, goes out over this like, you kind of get an idea by that distance now how far these optic systems can reach. When it gets to that point where it's over the water, every source that I have talked with who is aware of this footage, that footage exists. You've got a UFO or UAP descends into the water stiff, comes back up, and then shoots off 45 degrees. Now, this was taken by an intelligence agency and buried. So I don't know, man. These are the cases that spark me.
Okay.
Oh man. Well, obviously this has been sparking up a lot of like, it's not even controversy, just like I guess and I'm not saying proof, but I don't know if you've seen all the videos about it, like that have been popping up recently, like different
Yeah.
parts of the world, and especially
Oh,
in
yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that article that you sent me about the guy that actually recorded this. So maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah. Let me just bring it up real quick. Did I send it directly to you?
You sent it directly to me,
Okay.
and once I saw it, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is something real." They don't know what this is. They couldn't identify it.
Yeah. I mean, hold on one second. There we go. Okay, this should be back. All right, so a little bit of context, right? This is Stephen Greenstreet. Let me make sure this is recording. Yeah, Stephen Greenstreet. He is, and I've sent you tons of. I think I've sent you at least like 3 things from him, right?
Yeah.
So he is what he considers a not a believer, but like I want to believe, but he's hated on UFO Reddit, Skinwalker Ranch Reddit, because he's the investigative journalist at New York Post who came out with that 4-hour series of videos basically tracking the money back for all of the Skinwalker Ranch nonsense. And the TLDR on that is that there's some contracts that got handed off that, you know, amounted to a lot of money, and then there was a $22 million trace that he had on the werewolf in the Pentagon, which I think is probably the most interesting thing that he's done. Where
They're researching werewolves. The CIA,
well,
right? Is
it's not the CIA. Like what happens is part of the budget went to the Skinwalker Ranch, and like you go to Skinwalker Ranch, and Skinwalker Ranch is just all about. It's like the Disneyland of paranormal experiences, I think, is the way that it gets described. And so one of them is this hitchhiker effect, where if you visit the ranch, you'll have like a poltergeist or like a paranormal thing that follows you. It's like an infection, is what they say it is. When I say they, I mean a specific group of people who are like, there's no proof any of this has happened. It's just people at the ranch that are just, you know, playing it up, right? So anyhow, long story short, bunch of claims about a werewolf. The actual drawings of the eyewitness werewolf stuff came from a deviant art drawing of a Fable werewolf from the video game Fable, and
I
presented
know.
as
Yeah, you did.
truth.
I know you did share that with me.
It's comical, right? So on the surface level, it's comical. Underneath it, it's horrible to think $22 million of taxpayer money went to any of this research. So anyhow, Greenstreet, right? Set all that up. He's very aggressive about his positions. You know, kind of like how Dawkins is with atheism, right? Nothing wrong with it. It's just, you know, you're a little more aggressive. So, of course, you're going to kick the hornet's nest. So he starts looking into this, and, you know, these are the findings, right? So he spoke with a military witness about the Jellyfish UFO, obviously, because it's a hot topic. And I think, honestly, we'll have to check right now, but I'm pretty sure some of the story actually changed. I think he did an initial interview, and then Corbell talked with those people, and then they went back and re-talked with Greenstreet, because I think there was some follow-up with this, which, by the way, feels pretty shady to me. Like, that feels like leading a witness or getting everyone's story on the same page when Like, why? Why would you need any of that? Like, it's just doesn't make sense to me.
I
So
mean, you
anyhow,
always thought that he was a sketch, right? You have this weird feeling about him.
yeah, I mean, look at the video, right? So I mean, what do you think? Because like, doesn't it feel? It feels like he's milking the cow, the cash cow, right? Like that's the impression that I get.
I agree with you. It's like he oddly is positioning himself around high, you know, he's positioning himself very high on these very controversial things, right? Like one, this is going to be controversial, right? He also positioned himself with the guy, what's his name, the whistleblower. He's like he's got like
Grush,
on that Grush, right? And obviously, the famous Area 52 guy. What the fuck? Why am I forgetting? Why am I forgetting his name?
the other investigative reporter that wrote
George
that book.
Knapp is the one.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Knapp.
what's his
Yeah.
name? And they're kind of both kind of, and they teamed up with the what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? The Area 52 guy, the one that came back, that Bob Lazar, right?
Oh, Lazar. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it just happens to be that every single situation he's made money from it, right? He's made documentaries, or he's made presentations, or he's gone and go on a bunch of interviews, bunch of podcasts. It's like he's tagged along, like he's positioned himself around people that maybe give him credit,
Mm-hmm.
but it seems like, yeah, he's in for the money. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Like I think you and I would do the same thing. Like if we were in that situation where we could come in and have Bob Lazar on the podcast and talk about that, be like, tell us a little bit, and we make money off of it. I think we would try to continue doing that.
Yeah, it's challenging, right? Because it's like you have to. All of this stuff is so already kind of out there, and the idea that someone, because my first question is, what does Corbell make his living at? Why does he have the flexibility in his, like, what's his day job, right? Because you and
This
I
is
both
his
have
day
day
job.
jobs. Well,
This is his day job, though.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I
he's
mean, if this
incentivized.
becomes, yeah, if this becomes our day job, then we're going to do Monday through Thursday, like research, review, talking to people, getting on podcasts and stuff like that. It's like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm charging, and then make money from it. Like I think that's how it is. It's like that Jaime guy. Like he's been doing it for like 20 plus years, and that's his day job. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He started off as a journalist and a very decorated journalist, and then he became the UFO guy in Mexico. And I think that's what this Corval's doing too. Now, as
Yeah.
far as the UFO jelly thingy, dude, I don't know what it is. It looks very strange, and to go back, swing, come full circle on the article about it, is the guy talks about it too, saying like there was a couple things that didn't happen to it, right, in the
Hmm.
video, right, and I guess he said that it wasn't changing heat, right? No heat recognition wasn't being done. That could have just been the camera focusing that it, because it was malfunctioning, right? Is what they kind of agreed on. It
Yeah.
never really went into the water, and it never really dove and came out. At least he didn't record that. He didn't see that, and that's where I'm like, Corbell saying, he's like, well, we have people that said that they saw it dive down and then come out, because they want to really press the whole, like, the UAPs in the water, like that there might be secret bases underneath the water, which is a whole nother topic.
Yeah. So my hot take on this is that it looks like a malfunctioning set of equipment. I'm not an
You think
expert.
it's a drone? You think it's a drone? Is what
I,
you feel?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I mean, first of all, so there's a couple things, right? Because there's multiple eyewitnesses on this one. My first question is, and I actually don't know because I didn't dig in this far. Were there any like bare naked eye witness accounts?
Not
I
that
don't
I'm
think
I'm
so, right?
aware of, no. But you can see all the other videos that have been recorded worldwide about them, and they all look like this. Like they're all
Do you have
similar
another
to
one of
this.
those? Do you have one like handy?
Not handy, but it's like someone like in some type of garage that they're working, they see it flying down, and it like comes around, and the dogs are barking to it, and the dogs react to it. There's another one where it's like crossing these train tracks, and it looks something similar like that too. It looks exactly like this thing. I've seen the ancient paintings that people have been posting about it too, that's saying like, hey,
Yeah.
old artwork has this type of jellyfish. People have been bringing up these old articles of UFO research ufologists talking about like all the alien life forms that there are, and that they have this thing on there too. But those UFO ones have been on the UFO subreddit for forever, and I always thought like, that just looks like a weird looking drone, or it could be something. God, I hate to say it, and I don't like saying it because it like I I don't want to get made fun of it, but it looks
Bigfoot.
somewhat
Bigfoot.
interdimensional, bro. That's what it looks like. It has this weird hologram thing to all of them. Like really, like if you go back and watch the videos, and this is the same thing that has that.
I can't disagree. I don't know what interdimensional anything looks like, so I can't really like say. I will say
Well, I mean,
though.
it's like jumping from the third dimension to the fourth dimension. It's like what if it seems like, and I don't know enough physics about that, like to tell you like if there's what's the difference between third dimension and fourth dimension, and like why these things that like, and that's what they were saying that happened in the Miami incident that
Mhm.
everyone seemed to forgot and kind of like died and got buried.
Yeah,
Which
that's the big part of that. But
yeah,
here's what I'll say. This has going for it from my perspective. It looks very different than something I think people would design. Right? It
it does
looks.
not look man-made. Like there's something
Uh huh.
weird about it.
And personally, have I don't know how the universe works outside of us, but my expectation would be that if we had alien visitors, they wouldn't look humanoid. They wouldn't have humanoid designs. They would have something very different. So this kind of tickles that whole idea that I have in my head of how like, we shouldn't see like flying saucers, right? Like in that picture in the background, right? Like because that's something that human designed. It would feel very like I would expect aliens to feel very foreign, like unhuman form. You know?
This is like, well, because people have been breaking down the images, right? Like seeing the eyes and that. And in all honesty, before people started posting that, like I didn't ever see any of that. Like I couldn't see eyes, I couldn't see the antenna on the top.
Yeah,
Like if everyone's breaking those down and enhancing it, and then using AI to enhance it and telling it to interpret it, I personally am not seeing some type of biological thing controlling it. Like I don't see it. I think it's creative as hell. Like the people that are like, I could visually see this. But then again, the Bigfoot community and the UFO community is the same community, and do they see Bigfoot in everything? That's the problem that I have with that.
yeah, for real. By the way, here's the update on that I mentioned. Right, um, the story has been altered after talking with Jeremy Corbell. So that doesn't feel good to me just from like a just watching this unfold is it's like keep your story straight like you have to start it just feels so fucking
So he's trying to cooperate with his story. Like, is that what he's trying to say?
look so here's what changed right um we switched to it being an alien we switched from like oh yeah I thought this was not alien to alien that's basically the gist of this and that's like a pretty big shift let's just be honest right like it just seems like one
But it's
why
like it's the power of suggestion, right? It's like if I'm
yeah
telling you, like, hey, Ryan, you were the one that recorded this and you saw this. Would you say it was something non-biological or was something, maybe like a drone? From your professional experience, would you say that's what it is? Because most people are saying, and the internet is saying, and the communities, UFO communities and even news group organizations are saying that this looks something non-biological, like biological. And if you were the one, like somebody could easily change your opinion on that. Just the power of suggestion. And
yeah
now that's what
totally
most likely it happened with him.
yeah totally like and I don't know like it's just it feels like I don't know like if look I didn't see this thing in like 2017 I wasn't like looking in the fucking camera when it happened but if I saw that I would it looks like a sneeze to me like a sneeze on a lens like if I'm just being honest
It does look something to me like what I actually think is I think it's a drone, bro. I think it's a
I
drone
think it's
just
drone
flying by, and then like they were saying, I can't remember where I read it saying that they were like strapping things onto the drones to like not make it a target or something like that is what they were saying.
Oh, that makes
Not
perfect sense. Yeah, like camouflage, right? Like so that like
like
here's a
that's
bunch
what
of
they
the
were
stuff
doing.
hanging.
So
So
that
here
way it,
the thing is like if it's hanging, right? There's going to be wind resistance, so it's going to go from like let me see,
but
like
there's no
this
wind resistance on
to
it is
like
I
that,
think what.
right? So like it stays fixed. Like that's why I'm saying it looks like a sneeze to me or like a camera malfunction because it's like it stays in this fixed position. It's not like waving or anything.
It's strange though. It absolutely is strange though. That's the
Oh,
one
for
thing
sure.
that I was like, I have no idea what it is. I do not think it's a person controlling it. I still think it's something though, because it's like there's no nothing like this. Like there's no drones that look like this.
I found it. It's right here. Look at those big old balls.
Oh my god, fucking internet, dude! It's undefeated.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, what do we even do with this? Like, moving forward, is this proof? Because the other thing is like Corbell sold this to TMZ, right? So TMZ has that come out yet, or is there like a? I know
No,
there's a
aren't they
special,
gonna
right?
have like yeah, they're gonna have a special, right? Like it's just gonna come out. It's just they're gonna make money off of it. If TMZ
Uh
is gonna
huh.
be the distributor and they're gonna stream it on their platform or whatever it is, right? Like I think was it gonna be like on Tubi or something like that, backed up by TMZ?
Like, why wouldn't you reach out to Elon Musk and say this is the biggest news article in history, and we want to present it on X, on your new video streaming stuff? They go to TMZ because he sold it to TMZ and probably sold some rights to it or something because that's the way that shit works. Made a bunch of money off of it. And that's why the money thing kind of bothers me. It's like it's this double-edged sword where it's like you have to be able to make I get it. Like, you know, if you have to be able to make money to survive, right? But this feels like I don't know, man. Like selling the fucking TMZ just feels bad to me. It just feels like that's too far on the other side. It undermines the authenticity of it for me
Well,
personally.
some people would think that it'd be other. It's just like, well, they're trying to push it to the public. They're trying to push it to the masses, and it just happens to be that TMZ is one of those few that are gonna distribute it. It could
Drop it
because
on
people could
YouTube.
all
Everyone's got fucking YouTube. It's free.
yeah, but it's like is what the hell is it owned by Alphabet Company? Are they going to be the one that's going to be like we're going to be the one that's going to put this out there? I understand that YouTube is a format to do it, but at the end of the day, does the Alphabet Company want anything to do with that? Like you know how conservative they are with their whole YouTube things and how they keep changing it and making it crazy. You can't say things now. Perfect example is like the podcast. We got to be careful what we say. It's like maybe they just don't want, we'll pass.
Poop.
But TMZ on the other hand, and Tubi, which is like a free streaming service, like
The
yeah,
fuck is Tubi? Like, come
like
on.
you ever like what I'm trying to look like for pirated stuff sometimes. Like Tubi comes out as like a free movie format for it. It's like commercials. It's like public access streaming
Uh,
service.
another okay. It is what it is. I don't know. Like, I'm definitely gonna watch that TMZ thing. Just FYI. Like,
Oh,
I hope you watch it
absolutely.
too. Yeah, of course, right? Because
We're
of
gonna
course you're
watch
gonna
it.
watch it.
Of course I'm gonna watch it. Like I'm gonna need to watch it. Like it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
think
It's
if I
interesting.
think even if he even put it up on his own website and put it out there, like I think even then it would still be solid. Like I would be okay with that. I don't have a problem with him doing it with TMZ.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it on your own website, you have to pay for your own hosting costs,
Hmm.
and it's not cheap to. They've got all the infrastructure for it. So I get all of those pieces. I feel like why wouldn't you just go to like Washington Post or even go to New York Post? Go straight to Green Street's uh, news, right? And say, hey, we got all this stuff. And then let him tear into it. Because I feel like that's the interesting piece for me is it's if you're going to TMZ, it's going to be so heavily edited to it's going to distort whatever truth is there in my opinion. The authenticity of everything goes away when you filter it through the same, news organization that's like did all that like Amber Heard, Johnny Depp. You remember all of that? They were like
Yeah.
fighting, and they're like, I think what was it, Amber set up all the fake TMZ drop points and all this kind of like bullshit.
Yeah, it was TMZ, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
comical. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's comical, but it's like clickbait, right? So it's like I feel like if you care, if you really did care, like if I cared, let me start with that. If I cared about getting this out and making it as authentic as possible, knowing that no matter what you put out, someone is going to tear into it because that's just how it works, right? I don't
Yeah.
think I would go to TMZ. But then that payday, I mean, maybe he can like stretch out like his lifestyle for another 5 years off of this. Maybe I would do that. I don't know.
I don't know. If we were put in the situation, I think we would do the same thing because we wouldn't have that many, I guess, ways to put it out there. Like I think this is his only option.
Yeah, we are both sellouts. That's what I'm hearing. Totally agree. All right, Corbell, you're okay with me as a sellout because I would sell out too. Like, who knows? All right. So what do you think? What do you think? This thumbs up for you is like this enough evidence to say that aliens are here, Chris?
I'm not going to say aliens are here, but it's very strange. I'm going to give it a thumbs up as it being extremely abnormal. You know that
I
it's
fucking
it's
love it. So
super.
thumbs up.
It's abnormal news. It's just so fascinating. I'd rather have this than the fake UFO stuff that gets dropped every day, or the weird alien stuff that in Miami that's like leaves you like, what happened? You know, when they're trying to relate to the whole Peru thing, which is, there's no footage of it.
You mean all this bullshit?
Yes, it's like it really is bullshit. Like it really is. God.
Like, look at this. Look at these dolls. Look at this shit, man. Come
Oh man.
on. By the way, for anyone that's curious, I actually have an alien with me too. So,
You can
you
get your
know,
very own for $9.99.
yeah. It's so funny, dude. Yeah, all right. So I'm, very enjoyable story. I honestly think what it comes down to for me is it's like a sneeze on a lens or some kind of malfunction, but I'm curious to see how it plays out for sure.
We may not even actually ever find out. It's just gonna be a mystery.
Maybe.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Like if it falls under the same category as the Phoenix Lights and stuff like that, like we don't really know. They give us some bogus explanation, and it's like we know that. I was like, that is not like that, But
Okay, so this one's kind of a crazy story. We're gonna have to investigate this one, I think, right now because I started looking into it a little bit. And did you look at this one at all, by the way? The
all right,
conspiracy
so
stuff?
it's making rounds on the internet. It's that famous. It's famous at this point.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, right, and what ended up happening is during COVID, the specific community, Jewish community, were getting together when there was like complete like lockdown, right? And they made tunnels and they got busted, and it's comical actually if you watch it. It's like have you seen the video of it? Like how they broke them up, the New York police department, and how they had him on one side and somebody was coming out and getting like stopped and harassed, and then they all started like it's amazing that this would happen.
I saw some news footage on it. I watched like maybe 2 articles. I don't think I saw that, but I did see
The
people.
complete footage is amazing. Like you guys have to watch it. It's amazing, and it's comical because it's just like, it was like complete. I think New York was probably one of the worst cities as far as like lockdown rules. Like here
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, we were pretty bad. Like everything was shut down, everything was strict, and I think New York was even worse, right? Like, what's his name? Who was the mayor at the time?
Who in New
At
York?
the- yeah,
Los
during the time,
Angeles?
I can't remember. Yeah, yeah, no, in New York at the time.
I don't know.
I can't remember his name, but on that TV, on that YouTube sidewalks, they would
Fine.
always be, F this guy, like, and dude, but it's
Is
wild, bro.
this
Just like
the footage?
this is it. This is
Is it? All right.
it. Watch this. A secret synagogue tunnel.
Oh, this is so wild, man. Why are they blood soaked? This is what I saw, them coming out.
Well, yeah, that's what was put all over the internet, but
The blood soaked stuff is from them fighting with the police?
I don't even know. I don't even know, to be honest with you.
Just the dedication. This is like Shawshank Redemption level.
Oh my god, this is just amazing. It's like, how did this just get leaked now? Like,
Well, exactly. Are they still down there?
I don't think that. I hope not. Like, but it's just wild. Like, this just during COVID lockdown. Like,
Yeah. Well, you had nothing else to do. I guess digging a tunnel is as good as anything else. Criminal mischief. I mean, the thing that I saw that caught my attention was that the buildings have been destabilized, their structural integrity. That's when I was like, how much digging did they do? I mean, it's completely wild. Why is it on
wild in itself.
conspiracy though? Like that's what I don't understand. Why
Well,
is
they
it
were
on the
saying this like,
conspiracy?
what were they doing? Like, why is there bloody mattresses?
Oh, the same questions I had basically.
Yeah, like it's just like, well, what was really going on down there?
Oh, I see. So apparently this was dug 6 months ago, so it wasn't for COVID meetings.
Okay, so that makes it weird. Like weird. Like, so this wasn't for COVID meetings. Like, so what were they doing?
Infighting over an expansion to the synagogue. Then they turned on each other and someone snitched. So this is fucking wild. Dude, can you imagine getting so pissed off that you're like, "Hey, let's go dig some tunnels. Come on, guys."
Like, why? Like, what's the whole purpose behind it? I'm so confused now. Like, okay, so it wasn't during COVID, because I think that's
Yeah.
what it was saying, that they did this during COVID. They were having secret meetings. So, like, what is the whole purpose of having these secret meetings?
I just
Is it
have
because I don't know if you know. Okay, so lately in New York, a lot of structures have been collapsing. I don't know if you know about this, right? Like, you have parking structures collapsing,
I
and it's
mean,
just
that's what caught
because.
my attention was that they were saying that the buildings had been destabilized, and then I saw, okay, the buildings, right?
So maybe what, and I don't know enough about this story to know like what's going on, but a lot of buildings have been collapsing in New York, parking structures, right? Where they're now the city's going on and saying, hey, a lot of these buildings don't meet building codes, right? Like they're breaking down, and if the synagogue is part of that, and it has structural issues, and if they weren't allowed to go there, then they built secret tunnels to go in there. Maybe that's why the police department had some clashes with them, because the city deemed them, unsafe, and they want to worship, And since they can't worship because the buildings are closed, because I guess one of the comments is like you could see that the buildings are closed.
I see. Gotcha. So they're basically their place of worship is, from their perspective, is under attack, and they're trying to
Yes.
do something about it. Yeah, yeah. It's unfortunate. It's just a bad situation all around for everybody. But come on, like fucking blood on the. Look at this picture, man. Like this is insane.
Yeah, I just don't understand what's happening in New York that these buildings are collapsing.
I bet it's the jellyfish. All right.
Like there was just one recently, like 4 days ago, that collapsed, like a wall collapsed in a building.
Really? I mean, I just looked up. I saw a bunch of stuff from like, oh yeah, partial building collapse in Little Italy.
Yeah. I didn't know this was a thing.
New York's just falling apart, man. Wow. Hold on. We gotta share this one.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking up right now.
Manhattan.
This is the second collapse in the city in just the last 2 months. CBS 2's investigative reporter Tim McNicholas.
Ooh, that's a lot.
Live now from the scene in Little Italy. And Tim, what do we know so far?
Maurice and Christine, you could see the hole in the wall where the facade collapsed. It actually knocked over part of the construction fence here. The FDNY says its K-9 unit just completed a search of the building and no one is trapped in there. This happened at the corner of Grand Street and Mulberry. There are several businesses nearby, but investigators say no one has reported any injuries. And the building is actually where the Oliva Dairy Shop stood. It was known as one of the oldest cheese shops in the country until it closed last March. We do know there has been some construction happening here. The permit for this construction fence, for example, was issued last October. We don't know if that construction had anything to do with the collapse. One person working in the neighborhood just told me that he's concerned about the strength of the city's aging buildings after this and that building collapse in the Bronx, the partial collapse that we covered last month, and of course that deadly parking garage collapse on Ann Street last spring. The city now investigating what caused this and what happened here. For now, live in Little Italy, Tim McNicholas, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Tim,
Wow, I didn't know it was that bad. That's
yeah, I don't know
crazy.
what's going on. Like it's just kind of weird.
Well,
But I guess
safe,
conspiracy, yeah, it's just it's like, well, why is there blood on it? Like what's going on?
I don't even want to speculate. You know?
It's just weird. Like it's just all
Yeah.
weird. It's all levels of like what the
Okay,
there's so much going on.
Let's move on from this one because I think that's all we got on this one. Is hey, buildings are collapsing and they're building the synagogue is tunneling under. Insane. Okay, this one I didn't look at all because
no, neither did I.
The Our Ghost stuff has just been terrible. So let's take a look because it's kind of looking like a photo essay. Took this spooky pic back in 2009 at Oxford Castle. Story in the description. During a visit with my family at Oxford Castle Prison, the photo was an accidental, unintentional shot taken on my digital camera while we were climbing back down the stairs from tower. Appears to show a cloaked figure, white dress in the doorway. So I'm assuming that's what this is.
Yeah. If you scroll through the pictures, you could see like what they believe it could be.
Okay.
That could be easily somebody dressing up as that. Like that's nothing.
Yeah. The castle does run ghost tours during the nights with the staff dressed up as characters from the castle's past. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun photo, but like maybe like look at this photo, right? Maybe it's
Yeah.
just one of the costumes that got hung in like a section.
But look at the
Yeah.
hoodie, the top part. Like it wouldn't. I don't think it would hang like that. Like it looks like it has like.
Oh, that's true. That's fair.
But it could also be someone that's working there that could just be passing by and they just happen to.
Yeah.
You know, they could be setting up or they could be getting ready for it, and they just happen to catch that moment. Now the thing is, if it was completely dark and they were going down there and then they took it like that, that'd be kind of weird.
Okay, a whole bunch of crazy theories about quartz crystals. I don't know. This doesn't feel like a fucking ghost to me at all. This just feels look. There's like a power cable running down here too.
Well, after the whole
Right.
that they do, yeah, like they do ghost tours. I think it's actually and that people dress. It's someone that works there.
Yeah. So Ted, you need to be more careful with your costume during the day. You know, we talked
Ted, you
about this a
just
couple
can't be
times.
wearing it. Ted, you just can't be wearing it just for fun. You know, it's only for the hours that you are working. You can't be wearing it
Come on, Ted.
after hours or before work. You just, you're scaring the customers.
Yeah, we talked about this. This is your final warning. Okay, and cryptozoology, this one's going to be great. I've been obsessed with this image for years. My buddy just asked me who the man in the photo is, and now I can't unsee it.
Who's the man in the photo?
I don't see a man in the photo at all.
Like, what is it? What are they talking about?
Man in the photo. I don't know. Maybe if you look sideways, this looks like it's a hand, and it's like a guy on his side, like that's the head, half of his head.
Like he's doing it like a
Yeah,
like a Y. Yeah,
yeah.
but look how that hand is bending. Like no one does like. It's more like you come and then you. Wow, holy shit! I can't unsee it now. I see it.
You
You're
see it?
right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It looks like the person is like literally like coming up for air on the one side, and it looks like the hand is going like this, like exactly like.
Just think, all of history is going to be stuck with these photos at this resolution, with this much uncertainty. AI is not going to be able to solve this for us. It's just going
Like
to
yeah,
laugh
they're
at
not
us.
gonna. It's just gonna like if you input like dinosaur and lake this size. This is the size of the lake.
Yeah, or if you input, why are people so gullible? Give me examples.